Hi, welcome back. Again, I'm Carrie. Again, this channel is all about me and how I've found a variety of tools to help me on my mental health healing. Oh, I can't talk. One of the biggest things in my life is diet, and I'm probably gonna have to make multiple diet videos. One thing I want to say real quick is if you don't feed your brain, or if I don't feed my brain, I go insane. I know that sounds really lame, but food is so important. And me growing up, my family didn't really cook. Both my parents suffered from PTSD and or complex PTSD. So they both had huge mental health struggles and addiction issues when I was young. So we didn't really grow up with much cooking. I mean, my mom cooked occasionally, but it was very rare. We were TV dinner babies from the time we could reach the microwave or drag the chair over to reach the microwave on top of the refrigerator. And we also had, the second we were old enough to stand on a chair and cook our own, Campbell's soup or Chef Boyardee, that was really the vast majority of our diet. So I never knew what a meal was for the longest time. And so fast forward to high school, I was diagnosed with bipolar, and I can tell you, I don't have bipolar disorder. Actually, my therapist diagnosed me with just being a trauma survivor. But I was just eating like shit. I was eating Lucky Charms for breakfast, then I'd go to school and I'd load up on more sugar, more carbs, and then I'd crash really hard. I'd go really up with energy, and then I'd crash, so I'd go to the vending machine and get candy and soda, and then I'd eat lunch, and then it was just a freaking roller coaster all day long. And if I got emotionally triggered at school, that crash got really bad. I'd become an emotional mess, and I'd be crying, and I'd be hysterical, and I'd get suicidal again, and all of that was because of a poor diet. So I just, for me, diet magnifies the problem. So sugar is a magnifier. Like it just amplifies and magnifies whatever's going on in your brain or my brain. For me, if I'm anxious, it's gonna amplify my anxiety. If I'm depressed, it's gonna amplify and make my depression work. And so work worse. I can't talk. So one of the hardest things, especially when you're stuck in a deep depressive state, is finding out how the heck you eat healthy. What is even healthy? And it's super annoying because we were taught this stupid food pyramid at school, which is a complete lie. Everything, you should literally flip the food pyramid upside down, and that's how you should be eating, but it's just a complete lie. So this book, Eat, Drink, and Be Healthy, is a really good book on what is healthy, what isn't. It's by a Harvard PhD dietitian or nutritionist, whatever he is. It really goes into great detail and science about what's healthy, what's not, how much protein you really should have, how much carbs and veggies you should have. To dumb the book down, really, when you eat, you should be having lots of fruits and vegetables, which I suck at eating fruit. I'm really bad at eating fruit. But to dumb it back to dumbing it down, your protein source should be the size of a deck of cards. Your carbohydrates should be the size of a tennis ball, and the rest, all the half of your plate should be vegetables. And something that's been big for me, that I didn't know, because I grew up in the 90s, with everyone saying fats are bad, butter's bad, eggs are bad, this is bad. And actually fats are really really good for you. You just have to find the healthy fats. So for me, I snack on peanut butter. I have breakfast, second breakfast, then I'll have a snack of peanut butter, or I'll have my big lunch. But finding healthy fats, avocados, nuts, peanut butter, olive oil, these things keep you fuller longer. And also fiber, things that are higher in fiber are also, it's harder for your body to break down. So those are really important. And another story, so back when I was getting divorced, it was the worst time of my life. I was doing trauma therapy. We were doing couples therapy. My father died, my grandmother died a week later, and then it was the middle of COVID. We never got to say goodbye to my father. My work was going south, it was becoming more and more toxic. And then my ex's whole family ganged up on me a month after my father died, and they just verbally abused the shit out of me. They told me I was toxic and that I was horrible to my ex-husband, even though I wasn't. Like, I mean, we had our fights, but they acted like I was like mentally abusing him or something, and I would never do that. I loved my husband. I gave him massages and I cooked him food and I made sure his dinner was ready when he got home, and you know, but they made it seem like I was just this horrible piece of shit. And because I had so much crap going on, I believed them. So I just gave up on myself. So I was eating just shit. I was eating takeout all the time. I was eating, you know, just lots of sugar. I was drinking alcohol. Like, I've never drank alcohol before in my life. And I really wanted to die. Like, that whole, like I said, I went into a full depression relapse, what I call a relapse, because depression is like a drug. It just becomes so familiar and it's easier to stay there rather than, you know, be in a higher, more positive state. So I just relapsed full back. So when I finally got divorced and I moved in, I had gained almost 20 pounds. So I actually had to learn for the first time in my life, actually how to lose weight, which I've never had to do ever. So I had to learn how to take a Fitbit, figure out how many calories I was burning in a day, and then find my ratio of calories that I need to lose weight. So cut back on calorie eating. And so I lost almost all of my weight. And then I started adding exercise, which would burn more calories. And so yeah, diet, so important. I can notice the difference if I eat like shit for a couple days, or when I go to like visit my mom's. When I go to visit my mom's, I just eat like shit all the time. And then when I come home, I can't wait to eat my fucking vegetables and rice and eggs because I just feel better. I get more energy. And also because I don't eat enough you know, I eat my vegetables and rice and eggs, but there's some things I know I'm missing because I don't eat a lot of animal protein. So I take a lot of vitamins too, just to help offset not having the perfect diet. So one of the hardest things when I was really depressed was finding a freaking recipe. Like, I have all these cookbooks and trying to find one single recipe is just a nightmare. And when a lot of these recipes have these like insane amount of ingredients, it's too overwhelming. It's too overwhelming when you're already depressed. It's so hard. So you just want to go and, you know, or I wanted to go just eat McDonald's or something really shitty. So what I found was actually this Good Gut Balance Revolution, which teaches you how to feed your good gut. I followed it a little bit, but I should really actually try it. It rebalances your gut bacteria and explains your gut biome and all that fun stuff. But there's a really good recipe in here. It's chicken piccata in the slow cooker, and it's like 5 ingredients. You just huck everything in this slow cooker for an hour and a half, and then you have your protein, and then I'll just take some asparagus and I'll put it in the toaster oven on bake. I'll put it in there for like 10 minutes. Then I just make some rice, and I have this minimal, hardly any effort meal. And same with panko. Crusted chicken is actually really easy. I mean, it's like you just take chicken, you roll it in some egg, huck it in some panko crust, salt, pepper, and then air fry it for like 6 to 7 minutes each side, depending on how thin cut the meat is. And then I'll just serve it with kimchi for my vegetable, and then I serve it with rice. So again, that's just a super fast, very minimal recipe. And then you can make a spicy mustard dipping sauce if you want. But again, just noticing how I feel. The difference between when I eat really bad, or if I drank, or if I had too much sugar, to the few days of eating really healthy and making sure I drink enough water. So yeah, I mean, you are what you eat is the stupidest thing that you hear all the time, but it's actually true, and it really does help me, especially with if I'm like in a depressed state, if I cut back on coffee and no alcohol, I'll come out of, and then I do my complex PTSD work, trying to figure out what the trigger is. Where am I? What was the emotional trigger that caused me to get into this flashback? He calls it emotional flashbacks. So I do that. But again, food's so important. And so here's some books that I use and recommend for some really simple, easy recipes. Inspiralized, if you have an spiralizer, This was just going to introduce you to a lot of new vegetables. So if you're like me and never learned how to cook and you don't know anything about vegetables, like I never knew anything about vegetables, this is a really good book to kind of introduce you to a variety of vegetables, and most of it is really simple and quick. If you like Asian food, Itsu is one of the best cookbooks I own. Everything's 30 minutes, doesn't have a lot of ingredients, doesn't take a lot of prep time. It's really simple. If you like Japanese food, I love this book, Simply Japanese. There's a really great bacon recipe in here where you stuff it into Napa cabbage, and it's really good if you eat bacon. But Simply Japanese, again, Japanese cooking is just amazing because it's so simple and it just has so much flavor. So again, I don't like recipes with a billion ingredients unless it's pho. If I make pho, oh my God, it's well worth like the multitude of ingredients and balancing those flavors out. And then there's this book for people who, it's really old, really old 90s book, but Shrink Your Female Fat Zones has a really good explanation of how to use food to lose weight, making sure what your calories are. She even gives you a meal plan and recipes. And this is actually one of the first recipes I ever learned was Thai curry chicken. And this also gives you weightlifting exercises to start. And she also, you know, encourages you to do some cardio or walking also to help lose weight. And she does yoga stretches. And it's just a really good intro to exercise in general if you're good at just reading and following a book. So that's it for now. I know I'm missing a million stuff about diet and exercise and how to lose weight. And again, water is also important. Drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of, for me, back on water real quick before I go. Water, I have a hard time just keeping up if I'm drinking out of a small glass. So my trick is the bigger the cup, the more I'm going to drink. So I just drink out of those 4-cup mason jars and I drink 4 of those a day. And I just find it easier. And my little brother, he actually has like this giant gallon. It's like a 20-pound freaking gallon water metal container to drink out of. And yeah, that's how he drinks his gallon of water. He just puts it all in one big container and drinks it throughout the day. But that's how I keep up on it. But that's it for now. Like I said, I'm sure I'm missing a ton of stuff, but I'll be making more videos on diet, and I'll probably make a couple super fast, easy videos on how to make like the chicken piccata and the panko fried chicken, just because it's so easy, and maybe it'll help someone out if you're in a rut and you just need something quick and easy. Maybe it'll help someone out. So, all right, thanks for watching. Bye.